Okay, so today we're going to look at page 21 in your packet. We're going to talk about box plots. Box plots are often used to show important information from data in the form of a picture. So if we look at this picture here on the number line, that is called our box plot. And each of these lines on the box plot represent different things. So the first one represents our minimum value, right? Our minimum value is the smallest number in the data set. So I'll give you a second to copy this down. So if we look at our box plot, the smallest value in the data, that line, is at 50, right? The next line right here, this is called quartile 1. Quartile 1 is the middle of the lower half of the data, which represents 25% of your data. So from here to here, that's 25% of your data. So I'll give you a second to copy this one down too. And again, if we look at the picture, the quartile 1 is represented by the value of 60. Our third line is the middle of our graph, which is our quartile 2, or our median. And just like we learned earlier in the week, the median is the middle of the data, 50% of the data. Go ahead and copy this one down. And the median of this data is at 70. Okay. The fourth line, that's represented by quartile 3, which quartile 3 represents the middle of the upper half of the data, 75% of the data. So from your min to quartile 3 represents 75% of your data. So go ahead and take a minute to copy that one down. And the value that represents quartile 3 here is 90. And the last line represents your max. So the beginning is your minimum number, the end is your maximum number. So your maximum number, this is the largest number in the data set. So go ahead and copy that down. And as you can see, make sure you skip a line. I did not talk about interquartile range yet. And your maximum here is represented by 95, right? So your interquartile range is the difference between your upper and your lower quartile. So it's the difference between the third and the first quartile. So go ahead and take a minute to copy that down, the interquartile range. So if we wanted to find our interquartile range here, we have to take the value for Q3, which we said was 90, subtract it for the value of Q1, which was 60, and we would have our interquartile range as 30. One last thing that I want to write down. 25% means 25% of the data is below that point. So if you take Q1, where it says Q1 on your box plot, if you look at 60, 25% of your data is between 50 and 60. So go ahead, take a minute and write this down. Tomorrow we will be going over more examples with the box plots. Please bring your calculators to class.